ինչպես գիտեք, այսօր ուրիշապտի է Վարդանանց։ Եվ ամեն տարի այս օրը մեզ համար սուրբ օր է։ Վարդան եւ իր ընկերները մեզ 1500 ավելի տարիներ առաջ իրենց կյանքը դրին հավատալով, որ մենք պիտի բարենք լեզուն եւ հավատքը։ Այդպես ալ եղավ։ Պիտի հրավիրեմ մեր երկու հյուրերը, ուզեմ ասել դեր Վազկենը, ինչպես որ քիչ առաջ միջնագարկին մեր սկուրին ասի, գնամանցնեմ մեր այս օրվան ղևոնդ երեցին։ Քաչ հովի, աշխատասեր, լեզվանի, հերացի, միշտ երդասար, միշտ հիացունքով լսերենք իր խոսքերը պատրամը։ Ձեզի առաջին անգամ է, ձեզի հետ հանդիպումը առաջին անգամ է, և խոստանանք, որ վերջինը պիտի չմնա։ Դեր Վազկեն, հրավեցեք։
Շնորհակալություն եւ բարի լույս։ Oh, come on. Բարի լույս։ Wow. Now that's it. Are you guys հասկացաք թե այսօր ինչ է Վարդանանց։ Եթե Վարդանանց դեղի չունենար, դուք այստեղ չէիք լիներ. You would not be here if Vardanants did not take place. Now, if I were to say to you, Pari Luis, let's hear a response that lets the world know that we're alive. Pari Luis! All right. Because every Luis is our gift from God, and we need to present that. I want to share with you something. Vardanantsi tvaganov kide? 400 incher? Okay, forget that for just 1 minute. I'm going to fast forward to another number, and I don't know if your history teachers are here, so I'm hoping that you're going to know what this number is. 1776. 1776 is when the United States of America was founded. And why is that important? Because we fought against British, the British Crown, okay? Now, I'm going to ask you a really interesting question. Do you think that they celebrate 1776 in the United Kingdom, in England? No, why? They lost. Now, think about us. We lost the war, 451, and we celebrated. What? We are the only people in the entire world, in entire history, that lost the war, but we celebrate it. And now I'm going to ask you, why do you think that's the case? I'm serious about this. We can talk about all kinds of things, but why do you suppose we continue to celebrate 451 Vardanants? This is a tough one. It's not one of those questions, well, it's more than that. Because Vardanants is the only battle in the entire history of humankind where there is not a period at the end of the story. There's a comma. In other words, Vardanants continues today. Vardanants 451 is history. Vardanants 2022 is reality. And you know who's going to fight that? I'm looking at it. We do not have anybody else in the world. Do you realize last year when the Turks came after Armenians, what did people do? Oh, let's go see if Russia will help us. Let's go see if France will talk to us. Oh, Biden, Irani Biden. Forget about all of these. You know, the only people that care about Hayastan is us. You know, I have 3 children, and I name my children Varujan, Sevan, Christopher. You know why? Because the Japanese guy doesn't want to name his kid Varujan. The Italian doesn't want to name his kid Sevan. The only person that's going to name their kid Armenian names is us. Let's get with the program, folks. If anybody cares about Armenians, it's got to be us. We saw what happened last year. And we started looking around and we said, oh, the world could care less. 1915, we Armenians, we gave our lives, not because we wanted to. Vardanants, we gave our lives because we felt that there was only one way that we can live, by dying. That's a wild concept. It's a concept that was given to us as Christian people. Jesus Christ going up on the cross and saying, it's not going to end here. And that's where our story needs to continue. Vardanants is the only battle in history that doesn't have a period at the end of it. It's not over. It's a continuation. Vardanants is us right now. I see the graduating class. Do you realize, graduating class, you have more power than some of the greatest nations on earth? Each of us has access to a small cell phone. Through that cell phone, we can do all kinds of stuff. We can play our games. We can also change the way people think. Do you realize that only a few years ago, when the first iPhone came out, it wasn't a long time ago, it was 2007. It was right after that that people started revolting and what was called the Arab Spring. In other words, they claimed their independence and freedom because of the power. Not because they had an iPhone in their hand, but because they were able to connect with one another. And my one request of all of you, especially graduating class, don't let the battle end in 451. Don't let it end in 2022. Keep it going. Connect with one another. You have the incredible power of technology and the resources of the Armenian mind. Do you realize that we are the smallest people on the earth? We are the smallest. Do you know right now, this morning, it took me 1 hour and 15 minutes to get here from Pasadena. You know why? Because this is a true story. Get ready for this. There are more people on the Los Angeles freeways every morning than there are Armenians in the entire world. You realize that? Yeah. There's 10 million of us in the entire world. 10 million. People that could care less. I mean, think about it. Right now on Los Angeles freeways, there's more people than all Armenians in the world. So guess what? Each one of you is even more precious because each one of you can do so much more. And look what we've done. Do you realize that we are the only people after a genocide? 1915, they wiped us out. You know what they said? There would be only one Armenian, and we would put that Armenian on display in a museum. Do you know that? You've heard that, right? The Turks said, we'll take one Armenian, put him in a museum, we're going to wipe him out. Guess what we're doing today? We're all over the world. That's why this morning when I said, Body Luis, say it like we're alive today. Do you realize we had a governor of the greatest economy in the United States, California, George Dukmedjian. His parents were genocide survivors. They were supposed to die. Do you realize all the Armenians that we have in the world? And now, listen to this. They used to call us starving Armenians. Oh, do you know right now, in Fresno, we supply food for the rest of the United States, and those are owned, those farms, and that food resource is by Armenians. One Armenian was supposed to stay in the world. In your face, Turkey. We are alive. And that's what we've got to keep going. And the only people that keep that going is you, right here. That's a big one. I know you're going to accept it because this is a very special day today. Vardanants 451 բադմություն է, Vardanants 2022 մենք ենք. It's us. Take advantage of this opportunity right now. I'm going to end my talk with just 30 seconds. I'm going to ask you, take a moment of silence before I pray. All I want you to do is just think, what is so important to me that I'm willing to give myself, like Vartan did, to make this world a better place, to keep my identity, but not only just to say, yes, I am, but to make my presence in this world something very special. Tonight you're going to get home and you're going to hear about Ukraine and Russia. You're going to see that once again there's battles and everything like that. We Armenians have a story, and if we can tell that story, we can bring about peace in a bigger way than you might think. I hope each of you take this as an invitation to be an instrument of that peace. Let's take just a few seconds just to think about who I am and how I'm going to make it work in the spirit of Vartan. Let us pray. Der Աստված մեր օգնե եւ օրհնե ներկա հավատացյալ ժողովուրդը մանավանդ Manoogian-Demirdjian դպրոցի աշակերտությունը դուր իրենց Վարդանանցի հոգին եւ ոգին, որ ապրին իբրև հայ քրիստոնյաներ իրենց կյանքի մեջ, թող միշտ ոգևորվին այս պատմությունը, որ վերջագետով չվերջացած, այլ մենք ենք, որ կշարունակենք պատմությունը մեր պայքարով ընդեմ ամենչարը աշխարհի մեջ։ Ամեն։ God bless you all. Աստված ցեզի հետ եւ շնորհակալ եմ այս արիթին համար։